You already know
There
the
she is.
best AI requires the best
Hey, Rebecca.
data and the best
Good
technology.
morning.
Oracle Fusion Applications
So we're
combines
back
all three
for
so
what?
your
Maybe
business
one of
gets
two
the best
keynotes
results.
because this is the
With the
overall
most
Fusion app.
contextually
And then
relevant
later
concurrent
today we
data
have what
across your
we've
entire
actually been
business,
waiting for,
from
the
Right.
finance
CX stuff,
to HR,
which is with Rob Barkoff. So
supply chain
can't
to
wait.
sales,
Looking forward to
service,
Steve, but
and
I think
and
we all
running on
agree
OCI's
kind of know what we're
cutting-edge
going to
AI
get.
superclusters.
Um,
Fusion
Rob,
applications
I
seamlessly
love
embeds
Rob, and
AI
I'm glad.
services,
I
including
love
generative
listening to
AI,
Rob speak
in
about something
existing
that he's done
workflows,
such a great job with
enabling
too.
new ways of working and doing business,
yeah. So
delivering
give me some
unprecedented
two
productivity,
good ones today.
and providing
Any
end-to-end
thoughts on
business
what we heard
process
from yesterday?
automation. And the best part,
Well, yeah, but
it's already
probably not
working for
suited
you
for a
right now.
Nope.
Quicker
general
product
audience.
launches, faster time to resolution
I
of
mean, look,
customer
it was.
service requests.
This is
Touchless
nothing. It's funny.
automation
This is one of the few times where I'm separating the keynotes 100% from the what I thought of the keynotes 100% from what I thought of what I think of the company. Right? I love what Oracle's doing right now. I think they're on a genius path, like a brilliant path. But the keynotes were pretty much both terrible. So that's all I can say.
I will say though, I went to the press conference with Mike yesterday, and he tied the pieces together between Larry's data security and all of that with the healthcare broader message and vision from last year.
Well, again, that should have been the keynote.
Yeah.
We're going to have 3 customers tell their stories about their success.
Oh, Steve, now talk to us. Don't just tell us about
And
customers.
educate you on how you can also have mutual success. Secondly, I get to show off the tremendous work that our team has put together over the last year to give you an idea of what's coming. We'll have 3 demos that we'll show during the presentation, really as a representation of some of the work that we've done that we think you're going to be excited about and you're going to be able to take advantage of during the year. So we've got 3 customers, 3 demos, and then a couple product announcements sprinkled in. So kind of a packed hour. We'll go through it quickly. Now,
can only go through it in 60 minutes, no matter how much you're thinking. You can't get any less than quickly. We'll go through it in 54 minutes.
Philosophies are kind of driving principles. And we really aim to give you everything you need to be successful in your business. And I'll explain what we mean by that and how that's important to you. We bring to you innovation that matters. So I know at this conference, we're a tech company, we're an apps company, and particularly at this conference, you hear a lot about technology and AI, but what we really aim to do is bring you functionality that helps you succeed in your business. So it's not about the technology, it's about how we use the technology on your behalf, taking your input to that technology to make your jobs easier, to make you more productive, and to make your companies more successful. And finally, our approach, and Safa really nailed this yesterday, the really cultural shift that Oracle's made over time to be a customer focused on your success. And I explain a little bit of how we go about that and how we want your help and your partnership in helping us drive our products, our services to your mutual success. So let me first start off by everything you need. And we talk about this in
to one degree, I'm going to give him a lot of credit, including even Safra, on what he just said, which is there's at least some self-awareness, some awareness that they weren't customer-centric.
And more importantly, why that's important to you. So by complete suite, we offer the complete suite of applications from customer experience, supply chain management, financials and EPM, HCM, also industry.
He said customer experience first.
We have tight integration with third-party applications. Sometimes those applications are additive. Sometimes they're actually competitors to ours in certain spaces. But we have that tight integration, all aimed at bringing you a single platform to solve business problems. All of that is built on a unified technology stack that Clay McGurk is going to cover later on this afternoon. Now, why is this so critical to you that we have an application stack that's built on a technology? Why it's so critical is as advancements in technology happens, you as a Fusion SaaS customer inherit that mostly automatically. For example, over the last year, 100% of our customers have moved from our Gen 1 to our Gen 2 data centers. You've noticed dramatic reductions in update times.
What does that mean, Gen 1 to Gen 2 data centers?
I have no idea. I think that's what Larry was trying to tell us about yesterday.
Yeah, it's all we call the security stuff.
Behind
Yeah.
the scenes, you've had
Oh, the
dramatic
zipper?
improvements in security
Yeah, the
of
zipper.
your systems and monitoring of your systems.
God, that is
A
the
lot of
worst
what used
name
to be
thing.
known as
You
technical
can't
debt,
trust zipper.
really, you don't have to worry about anymore. And we have a
Keep the zipper up.
world-class technology business taking care
Yikes.
of that. Which
I
we
know,
do
that's what
for
I'm
our SaaS
saying.
business.
It's open to some
And obviously,
horrible,
this
horrible,
week, there's been
horrible
a lot of talk, and there will continue
things.
to be a lot of talk about AI. And our distinct advantage is we are the world's leader, OCI, in terms of hosting the world's biggest and best AI engines or large language models. You saw on Larry's slide yesterday.
It is
every
interesting
major
that they are
large language model
100%
runs on
focused
OCI.
so
Again,
far,
what
anyway,
does that mean to you as
on
an
large
application
language
customer?
models. Nothing
So
else.
it
No
means
other,
to you, I'm gonna
no
show you a
other
lot of
language model.
demonstrations. There's
Not a
lots of
one.
points where we use AI.
Well, maybe that's
And know
because
that
that's
you are
where
getting
they
the
see their biggest
best-in-class AI
benefit and moat.
capability that
Oh yeah, for them
powers
it makes
that
some
application
sense.
functionality.
Although I don't know that I
More
wouldn't.
importantly, know that
At
while
some
you
point, they'll
that
have to, let's
today,
say, acknowledge it,
also ensure
especially
that going forward.
probably in
Because
the
as
world
you know,
of
these AI
industries.
engines, there's a battle going on. There's a
Yeah.
race going on as far as
Although
who's
I
the
will
best
say it's
AI engine.
interesting how they've moved
I have
from
no
a
idea who's
it's
that's going to be in a
coherent and
year.
that's what
I
we're
have no
doing
idea
to
who's going to be in 5
testing
years
all
or
the
10
different
years.
models.
Yeah.
What I'm
for
extremely
different
confident about
spaces.
is
Yeah.
that whoever
I
leads
talked
the
to
AI
Picking
race
whichever one
will
is
be part
best.
of our technology
I
stack.
talked to
It will
Marco
be then
Castellana
inherited
over
by
at
you,
Microsoft,
our
who heads
application
up Azure
customers.
AI.
So you have
He
assurance
said
that
that
you are technical proof
they've
going forward.
I guess identified
So
1,600
enough about
plus
talk. Let me try to
language
show
models
you
out
what it
there right
means
now.
in a
You
demonstration.
mean
So
other
again, as a
than
sample
and large
demonstration,
language model
what this
being
means
one,
bringing together completeness of suite
or
Not
along
other
with
language,
forms of
not types
technology.
of language models,
So
just
the
oh
first example I'm going to
1,600
show you is a
language
models.
Salesforce automation
named
application.
of
named
all
You start
sizes.
off
yeah.
an email, and so it looks like a normal
Wow.
application, except you have
And that's
Fusion
probably
Sales
tip of
embedded
the
into it.
iceberg for the future,
Also, you're being asked to reply
which
to an email.
means there'll be
So you don't
standards
have to
coming
read the email,
someday.
contextualize it, reply to it. Now, obviously, a lot of people use ChatGPT, and here we have embedded AI. We're able to generate the response for you in email, edit that response, reduce the response, send the response out. However, in addition, this is not just Outlook. This is a Salesforce automation product, Fusion Sales, embedded in Outlook. So after I'm the sales rep and I've sent my email, I can see the customer and find out more information. But it doesn't stop there. I can seamlessly drill into the sales application from Outlook and get a much more comprehensive view. Now, again, at first glance, this looks like a Salesforce automation system. You see things like the opportunities, the orders, but as you scroll more, you realize it's an end-to-end application, or it's a 360-degree view of the customer, including which products they own, which orders they've had, their invoices, backlog. So it's a combination of not just what is CX applications or CRM applications or sales applications, but it is sales and ERP applications. Now, why is that important? It's important because you need to generate quotes to those customers. And again, we've used AI to be able to combine the
You know that
information
Oracle
you have from
was the
order,
very first
from
vendor
past history,
to have
information you
a
have both in your CX
salesperson
system,
friendly
have AI automatically
feature.
generate a
And
quote
that was
and send
exactly
that
what he
quote
just was
out
showing
back
us,
through
which
that
was the
same Outlook
quotes.
integration.
They were the first ones. They did that years and years ago, like
End-to-end.
almost
Just two
2
examples.
decades ago. They
One,
made that
complete
part of their
end-to-end capabilities
sales
on the
app, and
supply chain.
Didn't they buy
Two,
somebody and fit them
best-in-class
into that?
technology.
probably,
But it's
but
also, when you
I
think
don't
about
remember
customer
how it got
experience,
there. I just
it's where you
remember
need it. So notice,
writing about it
one
when I saw
believes
it,
the
and
confines of your email,
it was the
you
first
didn't
time
leave
you
your
saw an
Salesforce
actual
application, your
salesperson
sales
friendly
automation
thing rather than a
application. You
manager
didn't leave
friendly
anything. You did it
thing.
directly there. So this is not an AI engine external. This is embedded and contextual into the application you're already using. Then, of course, once you've sent off that proposal and that quote, the order comes through, and again, that same salesperson has access not only to the CX system, but to the ERP system. Because frankly, you as a business, there really should be no,
So wait a
there's no
minute.
such thing as CX,
So a
supply
salesperson,
chain, ERP.
if
You have
I
a
guess, do they
customer,
have to have
and you have a
an
sale,
ERP
and you have
license
an
in
order,
order to
and
get
you
all this
navigate
data, or
through that
all they need is
seamlessly,
this
and you
CX
embed
license to get all this
technology,
data?
best-in-class technology,
Don't know.
seamlessly.
That's
I
really
mean,
good.
Provide everything you need. That's one illustrative example.
and the interesting
of
question,
everything
even
you
though
need
it
to automate
might
the
be
business
answered, is
process,
that
not just
is
technology,
that only
but
Oracle
technology
ERP, or
make
is
you
it
more
also
successful.
SAP ERP?
And
Or
big
any
thank
ERP
yous.
system?
Today I'll talk a
They
lot
do
about
say it
new
does
things,
do
like
that,
the
but I
new
don't
Salesforce
know what
automation
he's
product,
speaking
the
to.
new AI embedded AI. But For anybody new to Oracle or new to cloud-based applications, realize we already have
Bob
a
Fagel
rich
liked
and
our
robust
video.
set. So I'm going to be talking about new things today.
Okay.
But these are a
This one.
sampling of the largest,
really?
most successful
No.
companies in the world,
Just saw it.
all
on Facebook.
running Fusion applications, all very successful in their businesses. Okay, but enough about me talking. I said 3 customers. I'm pleased to welcome our first customer from right here in Las Vegas, Caesars.
To Steve's credit, man, at least he gave the overview, which is, given this is
Yeah.
basically a product keynote,
It's the largest business of its
good
kind
for
in the
him.
United States, with coast-to-coast locations.
Yeah, you know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, and it didn't just like, okay, let's,
It also delivers
you know,
a
with
full
Saffron,
suite of
let's sit down
mobile
and talk to
online
customers.
gaming
With
experiences,
Larry,
including
let's
sports
dive into the,
Caesars prides itself
let's
Yeah.
dive deeper than one, let's dive into the nanoparticles.
services, all powered by digital technologies. From reservations and payments to the latest gaming systems,
Yikes,
Caesars
that was
stays a
scary.
step ahead.
Interesting. I know we're in Vegas,
Welcome
but
to the
interesting
stage,
that they have
Stephanie
2
Lepuy.
casinos as
Yeah,
customers.
on the
What?
stage. And it's not from the Venetian.
Yeah, that's what's really funny. They've had 2 competing casinos. Well, Caesars is actually the other one, so I guess they count.
Stephanie, I have to say, after that video, I know it's 9 a.m. or 9:30 something, but I kind of want some sushi, so we'll have to figure that out later. I think, obviously, being here in Vegas, a lot of people, in fact, you may be hosting many of the folks in the audience here today, but maybe don't realize sort of the breadth of Caesars, of the total Caesars. Could you give the audience a description of all of Caesars and your role?
Absolutely. Thanks, Ian. First of all, thanks for having us here. It's really an honor to be with all of you today, and hopefully you're enjoying Las Vegas and all we have to offer, not just at Caesars, but on the Strip. And it's a great city, and we're thrilled to host. So thank you. As you saw in the video, Caesars Entertainment is
Yeah.
the
I
largest
want to see what her
company in the
title was.
US.
Yeah,
We have 50
let's
properties,
keep
over
this
50 properties
view
located in
for 3
more
of us.
than 30 jurisdictions across the U.S. and a little bit of international. That encompasses our
30.
online and sports betting, as well as everything that you saw: hotel, retail, entertainment.
We're getting
So
a
we
real-time
have everything
transcription, it
under
looks
one
like.
roof, and
But
we
it's so
offer
tiny you can
everything for
barely
everybody.
see it.
We have
I know.
55,000 team members
I'm
as
gonna
well,
expand the
so we're a
screen.
significant employer, not just in
You
Las
can see it
Vegas,
better
but
when I
throughout
expand the screen to
throughout
full
the
on the
US
laptop.
as well. So yeah, we're excited to be here and really proud of where we've
Wow.
come and where we are today.
Now, in your role, you talked about the 55,000 team members and then the breadth and size. Now, you oversee both finance and the HR function. Is that correct?
I do. I get the privilege of overseeing both HR and finance. So in my
Privilege?
HR role, talent acquisition, talent development, internal comms, compensation, benefits, HR operations, the full gamut of everything that comes with the joy of HR and what that means in the people side of the business. And then on the accounting side, we have a very robust shared service environment at Caesars. So payroll, our close and consolidation team, our external reporting, budgeting, and also just
I love the
accounting
nice
process,
pan they're
closing
doing,
books,
that
and all
slow
reports into.
pan
You guys had
with
a
the
very
crane they
busy
have.
few years, very eventful few years.
Do you think they'll lend it to
Can you
us
talk about
Yeah.
the business environment, some of the business
for our
challenges, some of
houses?
the business changes
Do a slow
that
pan.
have gone on at Caesars over the last
We could
couple
do it with a
years?
PTZ
Yeah,
camera.
so we being Eldorado Resorts bought Caesars Entertainment in July of 2020, which that all triggers a date for all of us. I think that was during the pandemic. So while we couldn't even find the keys to the front door of Caesars because the doors had never been shut since it opened in the 60s, because we're a 24/7, 365 business. We don't ever shut down, which also adds complexity.
That's
and
amazing.
nuances.
When you think about it,
But
just
we were able to achieve.
they haven't
doing
really
the
shut
merger
down for
during- it was
60
a
years
$12
until the
billion
pandemic.
acquisition, one of the largest in our industry during the pandemic. So closed on that. Fast forward, we then bought William Hill, which was an online and sports betting company, and expanded our footprint into the digital and online space, which I think is
Digital-
Oh, I didn't know that.
revenues and
What was that?
competitive.
Yeah, I didn't either. Smart. Anybody who's buying online sports now is making a smart move. That's all I can tell you.
So new brand brand new facility and beautiful $600 million property in Virginia that
Wow.
will open in December, and we opened
Where?
in Nebraska. So we don't sit idle. For
Manassas,
sure.
actually.
Yeah, that's
So a
right.
lot of,
I was wondering what that
success
was in our
we've been able
backyard.
to accomplish.
Okay, so only major acquisition during a pandemic has figure out that obviously your industry dramatically affected in both directions.
Yeah, online gambling though, it never slows up.
Right now, in light of all that, can you tell us, you
That's
run
those
Fusion
phones.
Financials, Fusion HCM, Fusion EPM. Can you tell us sort of the thought process of why you went about choosing a full suite, why you went about choosing Oracle?
Right. When we bought Caesars, they had been an early adopter on the ERP side, but the HCM side was not fully utilized. But we quickly saw the benefit of having a single platform, lots of synergies, lots of efficiencies, consistency, visibility across the enterprise. When we bought Caesars, and a credit to the team, we were able to apply the close and consolidation tool. And not only did we close in the pandemic when everyone was spread across the country and, different GL accounts and chart of accounts and all those things that, give accounting folks nightmares. We were able to close the books and report on time for the SEC reporting. So that was a huge accomplishment. And I think it really illustrated the benefit of having one platform that you can really leverage across all of the different areas that hear your financial statements. And then with the HCM side, we also we had to revisit how it was set up and spend some time on that, but recently deployed payroll in January. And so we took it to whole nother level and really took advantage of all the opportunities within the applications as well.
So let's drill down a little bit more, because you talked about some of the reasons and some of the benefits on the financial side. Also on the HR side, I know that another challenge your industry.
Now, does it feel to you like this is? It doesn't feel like it's scripted. It feels kind of. Whereas some of the ones yesterday definitely felt scripted.
Well, they were the ones yesterday got the idea that there was a teleprompter to work from, and there's probably one here too, but they don't seem to be paying any attention. And secondly, it's just a different. I mean, the context is different. This is a product keynote, right? And the other one should have been the corporate narrative keynotes, let's call it. This thing, Steve, it feels different. I mean, Steve,
it's bouncier, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. There's some energy to it. Steve outlined everything to give you an idea of not just what's upcoming, but what they're actually doing, right? I mean, it feels right, I guess is the best way to put it. Doing what it should do.
There's a definite difference in yesterday morning to this morning.
And Brent, you'll understand this comment. Steve, this time we really do like it.
I think we can, without being too big brother, do the same with our team members and really be relevant for what makes sense to them and means important to them.
Right. So,
and she's also a good
to let you off stage unless I ask you the question.
Conversationalist.
So, how are you thinking about AI? Either in Caesars,
well, it actually feels like they actually do have a relationship.
Yeah.
With a certain comfort level already built in compared to some of the ones yesterday.
At the board level, all the way down.
Yeah, and I actually, as dopey as it might sound, I actually thought Steve's kind of offhanded, I want sushi comment. I like that. For whatever reason made me laugh.
I think those are the kind of things that make you feel like, oh, they're just sitting there having a conversation.
Human beings. Yeah. So you can engage. It gets engaging. All that stuff's so fascinating to me, man.
I hadn't really paid that close attention to all this until we started doing the video stuff more.
Me either. Well, I pay attention to the cultural stuff always, but not the social psychology stuff was interesting. But now, thanks to what we've been doing all these years, it's like I'm really getting like my ear is tuned to it, and my eyes are tuned to like little nuances of redwood, for example. I mean, things like that. I mean,
the second last question is,
wearing my bracelet.
Yeah, wow. I didn't put it back on yet.
Oh yeah, it stays on with me the rest of the show.
What do you expect from Oracle going forward? How can we help you going forward?
Yeah, Oracle's been a great partner. I'm not just saying that because I'm here on stage, but they've been really, we were an early adopter on the ERP side. And I think I'm
going to do a documentary on Redwood.
listening to us and what our business needs
Or
are,
a mini document.
and then evolving and maturing together. So I think continuing that strategy is going to be really key to both of our success, and we're excited about all this fun stuff you're showing today.
So now I'm going to go off script. So most of the
You're not even on. You never knew you were on
You ever
script.
felt like you're on script?
Plenty of time on their hands because the close is so fast and supply chain so automated. So they're probably going to stay here for the weekend. So since they're going to stay here for the weekend, go to Caesars. What's the best show at Caesars you need to see?
Well, AdSense is a fan favorite. It may not be, but it's always a really popular one. But we really have something for everyone. If you look at, Planet Hollywood all the way down to Harrah's, we've got.
They own all of
If you
them?
want to see a lounge or you want to see a big show.
Holy
We've really got so many great with that. And then we just opened Disco Show at Spiegelwell. So a little plug for that. I haven't been yet, but I'm super excited. It's got the interactive 80s, 70s music, and it's supposed to be really fun.
Okay, I'm in. I'll see you all there at Disco Show on Friday.
I can imagine Steve at a disco show.
Oh, maybe in the 80s. Well, that's interesting.
Okay, so now I'm going to shift over to the next section and talk about innovation that matters. And
so they're going to intersperse it.
A little bit more about where we're putting AI in the applications and show
Good
you
move.
one fairly simple example, but has a very, very, very broad implication. Now, before I start, here's a slide that I kind of take for granted. Hopefully you guys take for granted too. It's sort of our rules of engagement around AI. And there's a few fundamental things that I think you should all understand. First off, in our applications, everything I'm talking about in AI, we maintain the exact same agreement with you regarding your data, the security of your data and the privacy in your data. So very specifically, we never pass any of your data to a large language model or LLM, and we never use any of your data to train the large language model or the LLM. So every agreement you've had before AI is maintained after AI with the applications. Part one. Part two, I really talked about before, is we bring to you the best-in-class AI engine or large language model engine for the particular use case. So we have many partners in AI that will continue going forward and we're best in class. And very importantly, part three is, and Larry articulated this quite well on the earnings call on Monday, but to reiterate again, we use AI as a tool, as a technology to deliver to you better solutions. I showed you in the first demo how AI improved Salesforce automation through productivity gains. I'm going to show you in the next demo how it improves finance and back office through productivity gains. Those are applications we deliver to you. Those are services we offer to you, our customers. We do not charge you extra for AI. And in fact, I'm not even sure how we would charge you extra for AI.
Man,
Is it a tool
you need to talk to Canva. You saw what Canva did, right?
Yeah.
Just like we use
Well, tell people so they know.
Just like we use the best in class.
So Canva, and a lot of people use Canva. It's a really nice tool, and there was a pretty good value to it. I think individuals were paying $12 or $15 a month, and they had a team that was $119 for the year.
Yeah.
Now that they've added some AI features, they announced, I think it was last week, that come December, Canva Teams, which was $119 a year, is going to go up to $500 a year.
Yeah. And that, you know what? It digs their own grave, and I hope, in a way, I mean, I hate to say it, but hopefully they come to their senses before it digs their grave. But if it does, it's on them.
I guess that one line from him, we don't charge extra for AI, is going to be plastered somewhere. Maybe I'll do the plastering, because that is a huge statement to say, where so many other of these services are really starting to try to put these prices up and blame it on AI, you know.
Our own implementation. And for context, I want to take a moment to give you guys context of how efficient it's made us. We announced our earnings on Monday, which was September 9th. Our quarter closed the last day of August. The first day of this month was a Sunday. The second day, for those of you not in the United States, was a U.S. national holiday. So you can count those as working days or not working days if you'd like. We reported on day 9. First 2 days were essentially holidays, non-working days. We also had the weekend, last weekend, in between. So effectively, and this is not closing the books were closed very early. This was doing all the auditing, all the forecasting, all the guidance preparation, all the reporting to SEC. We did that on day 9. And that's a testament to our world-class finance organization, truly world-class, but it's also using everything I've just talked about. We want to be a showcase for all of you. Complete suite of applications, complete AI technology to automate that. It's just a tremendous result. And some people ask, well, what's the big deal about a close in 9 days or reporting 9 days or 11 days? And you're probably right. That's not such a big deal. The big deal is the reason we're able to do that is because we have visibility into our business throughout the quarter. It's not like we have no data and then we scramble and do a close. We have visibility throughout the quarter by using AI in our applications. And then when the quarter closes, we do administrative work, we do the legal work, we publish our earnings, we have our earnings call, and that's how we're so fast. But it's not just us, and it's not just in finance. We have a number of customers who are speaking here this week or have already spoken this week on our behalf, talking about where they've used AI, again, across the suite, across the businesses going forward. So that's what we've done over the last year and some of the customer results. But today, we're taking the next logical step. So most of those 100 use cases were adding AI to existing flows, generating text kind of productivity enhancements. Today, we want to take it much more broadly and have AI do a much more comprehensive, complete set of tasks, again, to make you much more efficient. And we're announcing AI powered for autonomous work, AI agents powered for autonomous work. Some examples will be AI agents around talent review, assistance for customer sales, assistance for compensation, assistance for maintenance. But just like last year, we announced 50, this year, we're announcing we will have 50 AI agents, 50 plus, because again, I expect us to over-deliver, but these are the ones we have planned and planned for delivery to all of you as part of your normal quarterly update. There's nothing needed to do. There's nothing you need to buy. Quarter after quarter for the next 3 quarters, you'll see delivery.
See, they are doing it
AI
so right. Oh my
into
God.
your applications to make tasks more efficient, and in some cases, make tasks doable within the application that were really manual or difficult to do before at all. So that next step of AI. But again, it's very difficult to talk about AI agents. Let me show you another example of an AI agent. And this example is relatively simple, but it's very illustrative, and hopefully I can do a good job of telling you how broad-based I think this is going to transform majorly the way people work with our applications. We call it our IO agent, or document IO agent. So what's happening? I'm on a trip, I'm in Japan, I need to make a purchase, and I get a quote for some video. And the quote happens to be just on a piece of paper. It happens to be in Japanese, which I can't read at all. So hopefully it's the right thing. How do I get that into a purchase order and into invoice? Well, I don't have to type it into self-service procurement. I don't have to type it in anywhere. I take a photograph and I email it to our document AI assistant. The AI parses that document. It not only converts Japanese to English, it not only converts the amounts, but it is able to map the exact data from that quote into the purchase order document. The AI engines today are so good.
Do you realize though that this literally, this particular thing depends on 100% accuracy?
Been able to deliver before. And I'm showing you a purchase order off a photograph example, but I'll show you more. Now, what's the next step? So the purchase order has been loaded. It gets to a buyer. Now the buyer can check things like what the AI engine has also done is default the account and the chart of accounts number. But if you want a human being to check it, you can check it, you can overwrite it, you can go forward, and you can complete the purchase order. Frankly, this step is something that also can be completely automated out. It's just a very boring demo if I say, take a picture, voila, you have a payment. So we'll show you this interim step, which is probably completely automatable in the vast majority of cases as well. But there's more. I showed you an image.
Oh, wait, there's more.
We often get requests of Excel spreadsheet uploads.
If you
have XML documentation.
You email us
files.
now.
It doesn't matter where in the applications, purchase orders, invoices, journals, you name it. It doesn't matter what the document type is.
Yeah, look at the formats on the left.
File and document input output. You take any format, photograph, Excel spreadsheet, XML file, you give it to the AI engine, it reads it, it parses it, it uploads it. It's a tremendous change in
That's amazing.
and output into our applications across the board.
I'm imagining you can also
You then
do
have
like
somebody who
currency
can process the
conversion
payment.
too.
Again, this could be
Mhm.
automated, but to show you how it would look in demo, it's happening behind the scenes. You now get the stream of what those documents are that are being imported. In this case, you want to issue the payment. Of course, you have the option of issuing a virtual card payment, which we announced last year through our partnership with MasterCard. You enter the virtual card payment, and voila, off you go. You've essentially created a PO and a payment from a photograph in a language you didn't understand, completely automatically using the AI agent. Again, that's
That's
one
amazing.
example.
That is, but
Again, to
if you
reiterate
didn't
the point,
understand the
everything you
language,
need,
how do you know it's
this will
correct?
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. This is dependent on being 100% right. That's the that's a tough one because you one mistake and it could be millions of dollars potentially.
And you wouldn't know it because you don't
No.
speak that language.
Which is why initially you use the human checking part of it. Again, you will not eliminate humans.
Okay. But enough about talk about features. Now let's hear about reality and how it comes forward. I'm pleased to welcome our second customer, DHL.
They're doing a good job with this. They're mixing it up right.
And it's moving.
Yeah.
Doing 5 straight sit-down interviews was not a
Yeah,
good
it's not like interview, now demo, now this. This is like everything, and him giving the constant overview.
DHL supply chain builds efficiency and resilience.
See, this is the other one. I am fascinated by supply chain things, even though it's not my world particularly, but except where it overlaps with CX. But
oh, look at
he's carrying an airplane. That's it. That's his. He said, "Listen, I'm going to be late for a flight, so I brought it with me."
I thought I'd give you a little gift before we start. The aircraft we operate in our express division. Hope you have fun. You can light it up if you want. There we go.
Oh, look at that.
So have fun with that, Steve. And thanks for having me.
Thank you. Does it fly?
Thanks
Can
for
I,
a great fun. Well, put it in your office or somewhere else.
My team's down there. They can pretty well.
Well, I mean, if it's your team, it's okay.
Thank you. This is great.
Was DHL the one that Steve said really asked to go on stage? I think it was.
Yes, yeah, yes, it was. You're exactly right.
Particularly of DHL supply chain. Could you give them an idea of the magnitude of?
Well, it's a pretty competitively smart thing to do, given what they're up against.
$82 billion plus company in euro terms. It consists of 5 operating divisions. The Express division is the biggest one. We call ourselves the most international company in the world because we operate in every single country of the world.
every single country.
Supply chain.
How many countries are there?
170 something, I think.
It's 17 billion revenue, 55 countries.
Wait.
We have 190,000 people. We operate.
Oh, so just got to know. Oh, wait.
1,600
Got
sites
2 of them.
17 million of square
The
meters.
Q&A after
space.
Steve's
The service provision is
That's
from
10:30 to
value-added services.
12.
We do
Yeah, I won't be able to be there the whole time.
Yeah.
In most of the cases, we really work as an integrator, combining.
There's only
physical
5 of us,
operations,
including
data, and
Kim.
robotics. That's in a nutshell what we do.
For the Q&A with Steve.
Yeah. It's me, you, Rebecca, you, Brent, and Melody Brew, and Kim. I don't have questions for him.
Look, we need to do a impromptu CRM Playaz with Steve if we can.
Don't we have
Could you give the audience
the
an idea
CX
of
roundtable?
where Fusion
Yeah, that's it. I just named all the people on it. That was it.
Wait a minute. So there's a CX analyst roundtable and
At
Steve
10:30. No, that's at the CX, not at Steve Miranda. The
There's
CX.
a Q&A at 10:20 to 10:50 that I just got a link from Kim.
Yeah, it overlaps with the CX roundtable.
Yeah.
Yeah, which,
But the CX round, there's only 5 total people at the CX roundtable, including the 3 of us.
so why would we go to one?
Well, I'll go to the CX roundtable just to be supportive. But the last thing I ever want to do is that. But it's okay.
The CX, the roundtable is like you said, 6 invitees. That's at 10:30 to noon. But she also sent a Steve Miranda Q&A thing, and that starts And it's 14 guests, and that starts at 10:20 to 10:50.
Yeah, well,
Both of them.
I'll obviously I'll go to the CX one and skip Steve, but
we started to roll out then the on-premise R12 solution.
probably should
from
focus
Oracle.
on this dude.
After 5 years into the race, I came to San Francisco to the Open World. We met the first time and talked. By the way, Steve, you took a slightly smaller room. So this one is a little bigger than we did in San Francisco, obviously. So, but we did that. And then you and your team, we had discussions with my team, and you kind of convinced me or suggested that we should move directly on the cloud. We together did a feasibility study, and we decided to go. And since then, we are implementing cloud. We are live in all APAC. We are live in half in Europe. In 5 months, we are live in full Europe, 35 countries. It was certainly a good decision, and I think it's.
Well, the only time I deal with DHL, and I do, was when I order from like Edelkrone or something, who's headquartered in Turkey, and they ship DHL. You're typically any overseas shipment I get, 9 times out of 10 is DHL.
Maybe I convinced you, which implies not some skepticism, but maybe some concern on the fit, new to the cloud. So, but maybe describe the audience high-level perception of what do you think the product was like when we started 5 years ago, and what's the product like now?
Yeah, certainly, I mean, one of the key elements of a cloud solution is an even higher degree of standardization, but in a way also of simplification that requires very robust change management. But what was a great sales pitch, but what I bought into is the ability of the quarterly innovations, and that we buy an application which is constantly, developed, and that is what we want to benefit from. I mean, we saw those innovations coming in, but now looking forward, and we are talking about that one as well, is
He's amazing hand gestures.
Sophisticated, let's say, capabilities, which gives us better insights, real efficiencies, and real value. We will measure and see in the P&L and cash flow statement, etc. And that is a little bit the difference. So the idea was there that now I think we get real traction. I think the capabilities you bring to the tool will really make a difference to our organization and to the product.
I mean, to be very clear, there's no way I mentioned 5 years ago AI, so that was new. But we did talk about visibility. We did talk about getting a shared service, just a lot of the accomplishments your team has made. So you're live in financials, in the scope that you mentioned, you're live in financials, procurement, HR, and transportation management, which in your business, transportation management, you guys know what you're doing. So that's a major, major accomplishment. So what have been the results you've seen so far?
I think, implementing the cloud, starting with finance, and we also adapted the model you kind of suggested to us, respectively discussed, is to centralize accounting activities in a hub, and that is not the transaction. We're still working with our partners of Accenture for the transactional accounting, but we centralize in APAC and Europe accounting activities. Together with that, we really address the system component, the organizational component, and process component, because I think we really work at the highest level of standard you can work, and we have almost none modifications to your solution, which is great. So I think it really coming into fruition what I envisaged maybe 10 years ago. All elements are working together. Again, there's more to come in terms of value creation, insight creation, but that's great. HR, we're utilizing lots of those self-service features, and that is what the people like and love. I mean, the HR people, but also other users, just as an element. In IT, I would call out, it makes our life easier, and I think my colleagues sitting there over there, also the IT colleagues, we have less, let's say, external applications, we have less integrations, it's seamlessly workable, and also the innovations which come, the quarterly innovations, are relatively easy to manage. So overall, it makes that life easier. And transport, I have to admit, strategic decision has been taken. It is deployed in one instance, but we still need to work on what is really the global design, because we have a huge customer base and they have individual, let's say, models and wishes. And to really define a standard, it's hard work for us, right? So we are more at the beginning, but certainly much more to come.
Yeah, well, certainly transportation is your business. So maybe that's a good segue. What's next for DHL supply chain, and how do you envision our partnership going forward, or how can we support you in what's next for DHL?
So first of all, what's next? What we are going to continue the rollout. We'll finalize the rollout in 2.5 years about. Then I have one instance globally, which we certainly never had before, and that sets a mark in our overall company.
One instance is pretty
What's
amazing.
next?
Yeah.
Priority number one
All they
is
got.
utilizing
This guy's
tool
very
now
impressive
and really
because he's got
betting on
his
new
his
functionalities you will deliver.
their
And I mean, you made me, which
I'll
I'm
call
one
it
of the
their
best
technology
hardware
strategy is
and finance
incredibly well
in
thought
IT
out.
or council. And I think I hope I can influence a little bit what you want to prioritize first.
I can't speak to
But I
whether
think
it's
we cannot
absolutely
become
right
our
because I don't
first
know that
priority
world
to
that
really
well,
take
but
everything out of the tool, which is in the tool,
I'm
utilize
impressed
it,
with
we
the
can
depth.
scale it easily because it's globally deployed. That is number one, right? And then we have also and then it's really about insight creation that are really drive value for the business and better. I mean, if you just imagine we have one data set, and with that consistent data, we're feeding into many cross-functional hubs and use cross-functional data to steer the business. The quality is better, and that is another agenda I'm driving as well.
Right. So you talked about the Financial Strategy Council, but here's your chance in front of a larger room and with a larger audience. How can we do better? How can we improve our partnership? What do you expect for Oracle to deliver?
Honestly, I mean,
Great question,
what you
Steve.
changed is you bring us
Yeah.
together, and that I talk to other customers of you, that we have a community. I think will really be good, and I will consolidate some opinion, influence you, Steve. Obviously, I mean, just to give you an example, I mean, if I would be in a position, never have it surprised by an auditor, because I mean, anomaly detection. I mean, the application knows what might be wrong. I can even heal it before I have the discussion. That is something, it should be relatively easy to deployable in the foreseeable future, those kind of things I see. But I think that we work together continuous, I mean, on all levels, as we did in the past, will make that very successful here. I think there's not a dramatic change I envisage, but we need to continue what we do.
Absolutely. I think it ties closely into our security message and everything we're doing, so it'll be great. Thank you, and again, congratulations to you and your team. Just great progress.
Hey, Steve, I have one for you. So 5 years ago, you told me you leave San Francisco and you should deploy the cloud, right?
Yes.
What is your advice? What do you wish me to do now? And if you talk in 3 or 5 years, so what is your advice to me?
I mean, I think I have we talked a little bit about this off stage. I talked with a few customers. I think that many of the people in the audience are in your position, where they've done, let's say, several phases. You still have some countries to roll out, you still have some transportation management. But I showed a couple examples. The team is delivering hundreds of new features every quarter. Not all of them will apply to you, but I think that we have to get, as a community, go from, hey, we got this big project to move to the cloud, we got this big project to update, into you're getting steady stream of innovation. I hate to sound cliche, but a continuous process improvement, not only in the supply chain areas where that's kind of what they do, back office financials, HR, so that you're adopting new features all the time. I think you and I do it as consumers. You get apps on your iPhone, your computer gets updates, you just absorb it. But I think as enterprises, absorbing and staying up to date, because I think, well, you and I know we've talked about opportunities to, as successful as you've been, if we just continue to incrementally automate, innovate those areas. So I would really put a focus on, I'm glad you mentioned the updates go in fairly seamlessly, but really drive that value. And I think your team is doing a great job. But if we do that, I think we're going to be really successful.
Thanks.
Yeah,
So,
great.
thanks, Steve.
Damn, that was good.
That was really good.
That was a great conversation.
And everybody's heads down.
I know.
Device.
Maybe we shouldn't really go after them because of audience energy. It's the audience's fault. Just have an unenergetic group of people here.
It's just tough keeping people's attention.
Yeah, but that was really good.
I thought it was good, but I will say it was a tad long.
Yeah.
And it's hard to keep people's attention, even if it's good stuff.
They were very successful. The team was very proud.
I'll tell you, that was the saddest things about current state of things. People's attention spans are so crappy.
It was a great source of pride.
It's just, I'm sorry, short attention spans, crappy. That's what I think. I may be an old guy, but the reality is, ability to concentrate is like a good thing, and to stay engaged is a good thing.
To showcase their success. So just incredible from DHL. Okay, now I'm going to continue on new innovations that we've delivered. And let me first start off by level setting. So you've heard from DHL. You're going to hear in a moment from Zebra. manufacturing supply chain companies. And I know that many of you who come from particularly the e-business suite and JD Edwards heritage from some of our competitors,
JD Edwards.
this has been one of the questions. Well, is the cloud ready? Can the cloud do
This is the really interesting piece that they've actually caught up with in terms of functionality.
I'm here to
with JD
assure
Edwards.
you that we have
Yep.
more capability today in the cloud and Fusion applications,
Exciting,
supply
too,
chain
for
and
them.
manufacturing
Yeah.
than we ever had before in any of the combined products. And that's shown by the success we're having at companies the size and scale and complexity, product companies, not service companies, of DHL, of Zebra, of Western Digital, of Kohu, of many, many, many more. And that's included with this complete set of supply chain applications. But at today's conference, we're extremely proud to announce more. And really, we've gone in a place we've never gone before, into something we call smart operations. And what this really is a modern day MES shop floor system. It includes things that focus on manufacturing, things that focus on maintenance, and things focus on inventory.
Wow.
Product supervisor workbenches,
This is
maintenance
the shop
supervisor
floor.
workbenches, invoice
Really is.
supervisor workbenches, and is really
All right, guys, I'm going to drop.
All right.
See you later.
See you later, my dear.
Modern,
Thank you.
automated supply chain is today, where you're dealing with RFID, you're dealing with, you have an assembly line, and then work instructions come, they come with a QR code that the workers on the line either scan with an iPhone or scan with a tablet. You have instrument calibration that's monitored through IoT. The days of these old-fashioned, well, it's an assembly line and an MES system are these, green screen, like hard press, those days are over. Today, many, many organizations are moving towards smart manufacturing and need a
See, this will
smart
put them a leg up
MES
on the
system,
SAP,
smart
who I always
operations
thought
that
from a
not only
supply
brings
chain standpoint,
capability
it was
we've
kind
never
of
had before in our
the
application suite,
premium
but
guys, if you know what I
unlike the
mean. The
traditional
kind
MES
of,
system,
they always
it
had the
is
most
tightly integrated,
history and
one
depth
data
in
model,
supply chain,
one
but this
technology stack,
catapults
one
Oracle
end-to-end business flow. Again,
potentially
everything you need embedded,
up to the top.
combined with that rich and robust manufacturing, supply chain, and financial application. Truly a unique offering, and something that if you're still on-premise customer, particularly a manufacturing customer from e-business suite or JD Edwards, most of the time you've had to have a homegrown, third-party, or even custom application that took care of this smart operation piece for you. What we're really proud to offer is as you're moving to the cloud, you have all the best-in-class capabilities you had before in manufacturing supply chain, and then some, and then a brand new offering in smart operations, which we really think will give you an opportunity to see a lot of value. Now, once again, without me continuing to talk about it, I'm pleased to welcome both a customer as well as a partner, Zebra.
That's interesting.
Thanks to Zebra Technologies, companies can digitize and automate their workflows on factory floors, warehouses, hospitals, and beyond. Zebra solutions link the front line, wherever it may be, to the rest of the business. Everything stays connected, visible, and fully optimized. Zebra's award-winning portfolio spans software, robotics, machine vision, digital decisioning, and beyond. All backed by its 50-year-plus legacy in scanning, track and trace, and mobile computing solutions.
Do you know Zebra?
Not really.
Please
No,
welcome
me
to
either.
stage Matt Osman.
Zebra Technology. I have heard of them. I don't know.
So Matt, one of the things that Safra talked about yesterday was
To me, it's very
when
vague.
a technology company buys our technology because they know what they're doing. So it's always great when a real manufacturing supply chain company buys our solutions because you guys know what you're doing. So can you give the audience a bit of background on Zebra and your role at Zebra?
Yeah. So Zebra creates solutions for the on-demand economy through our asset enterprise intelligence strategy. But what does that mean? We have
He is literally
solutions where it
reading a
matters
script.
most on the front line. Our
This is a
devices
PowerPoint.
and software power
So what does
frontline
that
workers
mean? Ask the
and
question,
assets
answer the
so
question.
that we
Ask
can
the question.
track them and provide a connected experience that is tracked and fully optimized.
He's not a comfortable
And
guy
your
on
role
stage.
within Zebra?
Yep. So as the Chief Information Officer, I am proud to lead a world-class IT organization whose mission is to keep Zebra safe, secure, and always running At the same time, looking at technologies such as yours that help us drive productivity and commercial growth. And they do that in our organization through living Zebra values. What I love the most is our team is so innovative. They're always pushing the limit. We collaborate very closely with our business partners to succeed as one. And then lastly, we look customer first, whether it's our business partners or our external customers.
Now, you talked about important to remind everybody the baseline things as CIO, security, and keep everything on. But what are some of the, in the business context, what are some of the opportunities that are in front of Zebra today?
Yeah. Zebra's in such a great place. For 55 years, we've been creating technology, innovation, and leadership. We started with a core of scanning and printing, but we've expanded to RFID, laptops, tablets, and more recently, software, machine vision, and robotics. And what we do with those, what really excites me the most is that broad portfolio and what we can bring to a company, and Oracle helps us do that. I think of the transportation logistics space. We can go in a package that's moving around, whether it's RFID or scanning, having a label put on it, but tracking that package throughout the T&L or throughout the distribution center onto the truck. And then our products are there with the delivery driver taking a picture to make sure it made it to your doorstep. Or in the hospital, you can go and track assets through machine vision or RFID, real-time locationing of big and small assets that we can go and ensure a nurse can get what they need. But at the same time, that device will allow them to go seamlessly from room to room and quickly pull up patient information without logging into different workstations. So many broad use cases that really connect technology with that frontline worker and blur the lines between the person and the technology.
Well, yours is probably a great use case. We talk a lot about Oracle and Oracle use their own software. You know, you using your own RFID and tracking capabilities to track your own manufacturing is fascinating. Now, from Oracle Cloud, you go on in CPQ, configure, price, quote, the supply chain manufacturing, as well as the financials. Can you give the audience a little bit of like, what's been the experience been? What are some of the benefits?
Yeah. So we wanted to dip our toe in the water of the cloud, and you've talked about the new capabilities that are coming, and those areas were really the ones for us that delivered the most value. And I think about the change that needs to happen in an organization operationally, process-wise. But what we've been able to do is really focus on top-level benefits around inventory and getting those turns up. But what we delivered to the teams that touch the technology every day is thousands of hours in time savings and how we do our demand planning. We're able to pass on cost savings.
It's kind of a challenge
by optimizing our shipping.
keep people's attention
into a single system,
over a certain amount of time
parts planning with our service
when
partners,
it's mostly kind of conversational.
where they need to go.
It's just tough. I think it got to be tougher because of the pandemic and because of how we had to change our relationship with content.
Being in the technology business.
Well, yeah, and well, you know, the other side is when you're dealing with these companies that are orders of magnitude bigger than most, it's slow as hell making those changes. So, you know, you're always going to get
Oracle and Zebra.
Let's say the remnants or the strands that remain from pre-pandemic show its face. They're always going to show their face until they basically evolve to a totally new generation who didn't know it.
We've got AI that helps workers do that more easily at the
because what you say is there are really quality conversations
that helps us do something with it. So there are aspects.
Well, I mean, there's a lot more. You know, there's a lot more high quality content coming out than now than before the pandemic. I mean, you know, at least in the new, let's call it in the new format. You know, they're coming out now, and it's certainly progressed a great deal, but there's still a lot of the old stuff that people haven't made changes yet, you know, and expect it. It's evolutionary. It's not going to change overnight, but to the credit of some of these companies, they've figured it out, you know, and ultimately, you know, remember when we started way back when on personalization? I mean, and even what we meant then, which was optimized, you know, offering to an individual person. But that started, and social CRM too, social part, that those things started the trend to because the content, you know, content distribution and creation was changing. And they were kind of the transitional way of handling it. At least this is my current theory. And because of that, ultimately the new formats require a much more personal, and I'm distinguishing it from personalization here, a personal approach to what they would have. It's no longer good enough to, you know, abstractly present ideas that sound like marketing collateral. You know, because now it has to be something of the voice of the person and the people doing the presentation, whether it's a, you know, actual voice or just quality of a visual of some kind. There has to be a stamp of a human in it somewhere.
We don't take that lightly. I think of our anchors as partners for decades, not years. And so I expect that to continue. We are going to go be an early adopter of smart operations, and we will continue.
It's important to kind of
help you develop,
have great conversations, kind of condensed.
Yeah.
When you're doing these kind of keynote situations.
I agree. I mean, look, I mean, it took me a long time to come around to the fact because I'm a long form content writer. You know, I have been for years, like a way too long form content writer. But I mean, I'm around to the notion that to me, it's, again, as I said earlier, it's just life is life, you know. So it's a shame that that's the case, but it's the case, right? So you have to adapt to it because you're not going to get it back to long form. There's still value in long form, obviously, it's educational, but people don't, they absorb, they only allow themselves to absorb things in short bursts, right? So you present in a short burst so they can get the most out of that. It's not easy though.
But you also kind of use the short burst to lead to the longer form.
You hope
that it'll drive that.
And I will tell you that
I mean, people still watch like movies. You know, they still will sit 2.5 hours and watch a movie.
Well, that's a storyline,
right? Well, that's the key to the whole thing. You just nailed it right there. It's a story. If you can tell a story, you can hold people's attention, right? But you have to get people interested in the story to get their attention, right? So otherwise, they don't know there's a story. Right. Oh, that's why, you know, even though I don't like most of them, there's a value in trailers, which are short form videos, basically, right? About a longer form thing.
Yeah, they're used to get people to see the longer form.
That's how I actually make some of my determinations when I'm, say, watching something on Netflix, and I'm saying, I don't know for sure, because I'll watch the trailer and I'll go, nah, or yeah, okay, I'm gonna watch that. And it's literally based on that trailer. It's kind of like, okay, subject interested, content not sure. Let me see the hint. So like your clips generate interest, you know, and that's in what we do. And that's really important. Well, it's critical. We don't continue without that happening.
I think that's part of the thing. The reason you do the long form is to get the clips and then take those clips and put them out there, and they stand on their own, but they also point back to the long form.
Right. Make it available if people want it.
Yeah.
So every company has a benefits document, has gory details of
well, there's this thing Ray Wang and I did for Microsoft when Microsoft
database.
Vista when it first came out. I mean, Visa first came out.
So that means all of that security you have is
and we did a bunch of webinars. But the purpose of the webinar wasn't the live audience. It was the footage, right? And then the archives, according, the archive footage, according to Microsoft at that time, they had the most views between all of ours combined in their history. But the live webinars for each of us might have had, I don't know, 50, 70, 100 people maybe. That was it.
That's because people are now used to doing things on their own time frame.
Yep. The key is on demand, man. That's the whole key to everything.
Unless you're playing football, you're not going to get people to get back on your time.
Yep.
And so what it allows me to do, because I've uploaded the source, it not only gives you the answer, but you can drill directly into the component of the benefits policy that has the source. Again, completely secure, completely contextual, best-in-class AI engine, using it appropriately. And you go forward and you could ask it more questions. And again, each with drill down to the source, embedded in, I haven't left the policy or benefits enrollment process. I go through, I could ask about my eye care, I could ask about coverage for dependents, I could ask about anything I want. Now again, this is an example in benefits. I talked about 50 AI use cases. I showed you one in sales automation at the beginning, which had generating text and generating proposals. There's a lot of cases you do that throughout the application. I showed you document input output. That was around a purchase order. But anything you need to get in and out of the system, journals, invoices, orders, you have the document IO. And now you have an assistant-like capability for questions and answers with policy documents. So for example, this exact same use case where you ask questions, we're embedding it into expenses. You're traveling, many of you are traveling today, what's my expense report policy? Can I expense room service? Can I go out to dinner? What's my limit? Can I expense the show we're all going to see on Friday at Caesars? Those exact same interface and that same AI with all the services. Embedded, pervasive, contextual, and secure. That is what's coming to AI across the board. Now, unfortunately, I'm out of time, and I only had limited time, but you have a ton more detail.
God bless him. He's keeping to time, too.
And Cameron will be there.
Damn.
Fantastic.
Way to go, Steve. You pulled this one off.
Our partner, the CEO of Cohere,
polar opposite of last year, right?
Capability. Our brand new focus on AI and the user experience with Hello Cooperman and Jenny Lamb at 2:15.
I'm so glad they're getting a lot of exposure across, everything, because like I said, Hillel was at the NetSuite talking about how they get that into them.
So this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Steve just said.
Yep, 2 p.m. Once again.
I can assure you, our team is extremely motivated.
I'll put mine on before I leave the room.
Got to.
We're extremely proud of
these are our Redwood friendship bracelets. And Kim kept saying, "I'm really jelly of that you have those." She's literally using the little kids version of jealous, right? Jelly. That's the little kids version of jealous. I'm really jelly.
Okay, looks like that one is done and in the books. So, what do you think?
I was impressed. I think it was to your point. I think the interviews, the interview with DHL, I thought was, to your point, a tiny bit long, but really outstanding because the actual guy from DHL had really thought through their strategy, their partnership, their relationship with Oracle, and also presented it in a way that you could see it move from here to here, right? I mean, really did a great job. And Steve himself, he handled everything the way it needed to be. Continually kept the framework and overview of the product portfolio out there, explained each of the innovations in a way that was easily understandable to an audience, pushed the theme forward that AI is just part of what we have, as opposed to we got something big and special and new and bright and shiny. Right, and we're an AI company. No, we're not. Oracle saying we're a company that makes your business work, right? And
that we aren't charging extra for AI.
That was fantastic, and Steve kept that out front. he mixed it up with good demos, solid demos, simple and to
Yeah,
the point,
the
simple
conversation-
demos.
Yeah, conversation with the lady from Caesars, the executive.
Whole
there.
thing,
Yeah,
the whole
that's
thing just
really good.
worked.
Yeah,
That was easily the best keynote.
yeah. So far,
Easily.
I would
Yeah.
say. Yeah.
We'll see what Rob has this afternoon.
Yep. So until then, and that's what at
3:30, I think.
3:30?
3:30, yeah.
well, until then, we will see you then. So I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM players, and yeah, we'll see you later.